So in this segment, we're going to be talking about this dunderhead here, Shaun Bailey. Is that his name? Yes. Shaun Bailey. I'm sorry, this isn't funny. It is funny, but it shouldn't be funny. Shaun Bailey. Shaun Bailey's claim that homeless people could afford £5,000 deposit prompts division. So this guy said, homeless people should save up £5,000 for a deposit on a house share. All right. So this is. There are many issues with this man's statement, and let's talk about them, and then we'll talk a bit about him after reading his Wikipedia page. So, Conservative candidate for London Mayor has sparked controversy after suggesting that homeless people in the capital would be able to save up £5,000 to buy a share in a newly built affordable home. This is crazy. This is. Come on, man. Just Shaun Bailey has promised to deliver 100,000 affordable homes with his £4 billion housing budget if he wins election in April. Many of them shared ownership, of which the buyers would be able to purchase a share for as little as £100,000. So look, what this article is saying is buyers will be able to purchase a share of a house in London for £100,000, and he's saying they should save up £5,000 for a deposit. Like what? That doesn't make sense. Like houses in London, even if you live in a cardboard, if you live in like a shed, that's worth a lot of money. Asked in an interview with Inside Housing how his policy would benefit the capital's 62,670 households currently in temporary accommodation, Bailey said he would encourage them to apply for shared ownership properties. And I'd be interested to see if this man has some sort of stake in any of these companies that are going to be involved in construction. That would be very interesting if anyone could actually look that up. Any journalist or anyone like that. Asked how these families would produce. So these are families living in temporary accommodation, by the way. Asked how these families would produce £5,000 and secure a mortgage, he said, "I don't think the £5,000 will be a problem. The mortgage application thing might be a bit tougher." So, if you're living in temporary accommodation, okay, if you're, you're not earning a lot, you live in London, your expenses are high. How the hell are you going to save £5,000 for a deposit? And who on earth is going to give you a mortgage? No bank's going to give you a mortgage. You'll get laughed. You will get laughed out of the bank. Honestly, it's just this guy. How out of touch some of these people are is insane. Pressed by the interviewer. So this is a decent job here from the interviewer. A really good job. Pressed by the interviewer, he was suggesting a homeless family in bed and breakfast accommodation could afford a deposit. Bailey replied, "Not all of them. But some of them could. A full proportion of people could." What does that mean? A full proportion. How many? Talking 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%, 70%, 80%? How many? Pressed by the interviewer, so you read that bit, he added, "I know that situation. I sofa surfed for years. You're right. I definitely couldn't have come up with £5,000, but those people I'm not expecting to or asking to will provide social housing for them." So, why? So he's saying back when he was homeless, when he was like living on people's sofas and stuff, he wouldn't be able to come up with this sort of money. So who are you appealing to here? I don't understand. Because people living in a temporary accommodation, people that are homeless, there's no way they're saving up any money. A lot of these people won't have money for lunch the next day. Bailey, 49, said his intention is to build 100,000 affordable homes, right, for all tenures in the capital, with shared ownership making up the large proportion. This would help Londoners attain a stake in the city and serve those whose incomes are too high to qualify for social housing, but still cannot afford to buy in the city. I have problems with social housing, shared. What's it called? The shared ownership thing, and we'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But who is this man trying to appeal to with this? That's what I don't understand. The headline here says homeless people should save up for a deposit. He's saying here, asked how. So he's saying, where's the quote gone? Shaun Bailey's promised to deliver 100,000 houses with the £4 billion housing budget. Homeless. He's saying, "I don't think the 5,000 be a problem. The mortgage application might be tougher." Like, I'm so confused by this whole situation right now because there is no way on earth that people that are homeless are going to be able to save up that sort of money. Nowhere near. And there's no way they can get a mortgage. It's impossible. Unless you go to a very high interest lender. Extremely high interest lender. Shared ownership. So we'll go back to that. Shared ownership involves residents taking out a mortgage of 20% or 75% share in a new build home. So you take a mortgage about, say the house is worth 100k, you take out 20% of that, which is about 20k, something like that. So you buy a share in the house, often developed by housing associations, and renting the remainder. Although it seems as a way of giving first-time buyers a foot on the property ladder, there are also drawbacks, including annual service charges. Bailey's comments attracted widespread bewilderment on Twitter. The Liberal Democrat councillor for London Mayor, Louisa Porritt, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Oh dear, the Tory candidate is at it again, this time suggesting homeless families save up for a deposit. Just how out of touch can he get? And that's pretty out of touch. Labour councillor Ed Davey tweeted, famously, people living in poverty usually have at least 5k lying around. It's amazing it hasn't occurred to them simply buy a London property, which are well known for being really cheap. Thank God for senior Tories are here to give us good advice. And this is shocking from this guy here, the mayoral candidate. Like, what was he thinking when he said this? When people refer to the Conservative Party as the nasty party, this is why. He's basically telling these people that live in temporary accommodation and people that are homeless that you're not really poor. It's just you got some money to save. You can make some cutbacks, save up 5Gs, get a deposit, buy shared accommodation where you won't even be able to buy 100% of the house. So not only are you paying a mortgage, you're also paying service charges or rent to the other people who own the share in the house. And if you can't buy 100% share in the house, then it's kind of pointless doing this, because there's certain things you probably won't be able to do with the house, certain changes you may not be able to make with the house. So this is absolutely embarrassing from the Conservative mayoral candidate. That's a weird word to say. Mayoral. Okay, I'm going to stop saying that word. The London Conservative mayor candidate. The nasty party's back, and I'll link his his backstory from Wikipedia. And this is a guy who he had some struggles in life, and has decided to say screw you to everyone else within the capital, because if he can make it out, you can. All you have to do is save about £5,000, get a deposit for a house share that is yet to be built, which may be built in say 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, and then you won't be homeless anymore. It's genius. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.